So for our next session, we at MiraiX Insight X 2022, we have Avinash, who is the founder director of Clearspace. And I would like Avinash to come and introduce himself, who is a stalwart with 15 plus years of experience into this space. Welcome, Avinash, and the audience would like to know who you are and what you do, basically. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samudra, for such a lovely introduction. We have a company called as Clearspace. We are a Pune-based company. Our intent is to actually help the prominent developers in India, with sales of their products, as well as
Mhm,
help our customers, to get best of the inventories, from these developers. So we are
mhm,
currently present in Pune, Mumbai, Bangalore, as well as in
mhm,
Dubai.
mhm. Great. So, Avinash, I see you have extensively worked in this real estate space, and I have few questions to ask. And especially, we really want to understand what is your thought process when we are talking about empowering channel management? The thumb rule in the realty sector is our topic of discussion. My first question to you is, how can we enhance relationships between developers and channel networks today?
Right. It's a pretty interesting question. I think, I feel that, I've been working in this market for last 22 years. I feel there's a lot of void in the market, right? When people say there is a, channel partner sort of a mechanism, right? It's actually not present. I mean, I've seen a lot of developers probably just throwing those CP meets or, CP parties, right? It doesn't mean that, there is actually you're doing something for the fraternity or you're doing something for the market, right? It's
Mhm,
absolutely unorganized. I feel it's absolutely unorganized. I feel there are these corporate players, right, who are at least doing 80-90% justice to this particular relationship. So we work with VTP, Godrej, and Shapurji Palanji. These are the people who at least worked on this particular program and given their best. But I think if you
mhm,
look at it from the Cat B and Cat C developers, right?
mhm,
I
mhm,
feel the intent is not correct, right? So I feel that
mhm,
these developers only connect when they need business from the partners, right? But when it comes to
true.
handholding or service or payouts, people generally don't care, right? And that is why you see now people like Justo or Guardians or Analog and other players
Mhm,
coming into the market, right? Because I think the markets have completely changed, right? So when we used to work 20 years ago, it was a direct market, right? But now, these markets have become, distribution, dependent markets, right? So I feel there is a lot of work which needs to be done. Basics have to be set right, and then I think there's a lot of scope going forward.
interesting insight. I suppose many of the people don't know what has been happening in the category B and C segment. My next question to you is like, is it imperative to educate your channel partner about the amenities and offers in the real estate? How important it is?
Absolutely, I think it's one of the very key areas because I think for partners also you see Pune or Bombay markets there are close to 20,000 odd partners operating into these markets, right? Not only that, I
Mhm,
think I see there are lakhs and lakhs of projects, right, operating into these large markets, right? Whether it is Pune, Bombay, Bangalore, and all the other markets, right? So for a channel partners, it becomes very difficult, right, to focus on so many brands, so many projects, right? So it's very
mhm,
important that there's a proper sort of handholding done with the partners, right? Uh,
mhm,
so I think I have seen at least those things happening in Pune and Bombay, right? There are some developers who I think set out separate areas, at their projects, right, for channel partners where they do weekly trainings, right? Weekly sort
mhm,
of monitoring of the progresses and things like that, right? There are special cafes which are given to channel partners out of their premises, right? So I think they are going in the right direction. If that's the kind of handholding available for partners, I'm sure they can add a lot of value. They can add a lot of business to these kind of developers.
interesting. Now, continuing the same question, how do you strengthen your partnership with your channel partner? So, what are the key ingredients you believe should be there?
So according to me, I think if I think a developer looks at a win-win situation, with the partner,
Mhm,
right? I'm sure there's a long way to go, right? So
mhm,
if I look at it, if I'll just give you an example, I think VTP Realty is one such organization who's really working hard on the partners, their satisfaction level, handholdings and stuff like that, right? So if you look at that organization, maybe 6 7 years ago when they started, it was probably 80 crore company. Today, if you look at it, it's about 3,000 odd crore sort of a company, right? Which is
Huge.
almost yeah, which is a huge leap, right? So I think, why is this? How did this happen, right? So the thing
Mhm.
is, I see surprise. I'm surprised that in Pune also, in Cat B, Cat C, there are very big names, right, who are probably doing around 500,000 or sort of a business. But I mean, these guys don't have a channel sourcing team, right? So
Got it.
I think this is something which needs to be done at a very, very personal level, right? Because just like I said, just throwing a party, just giving a cocktail party, and uh, just getting those celebrities there doesn't mean that you're going to do a business on ground, right? For that, you need to do a
True.
lot of stuff, right? There, you should work like a team with the partner, right? And I'm sure there are these offers, and there are these pricing discussions. These have to happen very, very closely, right? And
Hmm. Agreed.
I don't see that happening anytime with the Cat B and Cat C developers. It happens, I think, at a corporate level, where I see these big brands in fact doing it, and I don't see a reason. And I'm surprised. I think I see very big names 20 22 years ago. They are now not there in the market, right? Because I think developers just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and they only thought of themselves and they never thought of the other community, right? So if this happens, right, if this thought process matches, and if people work together, I'm sure, I think we can add a lot of value on both sides.
Wow, interesting. This is quite an important insight. Avinash, coming down to the next question is like today, when you talk about it, the first question itself on the importance of a channel partner. How is channel partners network important for the real estate industry? Can you just put on a gravity to this part of
See, I think for a developer, I think it's very, very cost sensitive matter, and also there's a limit to how many people you can have for a particular project, or for your own company, right? But like I
it?
said, in Pune itself, there are close to 20,000 odd channel partners, right? They
Hmm.
give you a huge sort of a support, right? So 20, let's say 20,000 partner, even if you're able to take 5,000 partners, right? They sort of getting you one customer. It's like 5,000 odd customers, right? So if somebody's, I
True.
think somebody's selling a project of, let's say, 500 apartments, 5,000 visits translating to 500 bookings. It's just a quick show, right? I'm sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, then you don't have to really sort of look at other sort of platform, right? Because this itself gives you actual customers, right, who are actually going to buy at your project, rather than you focusing on to newspaper ads or hoardings, or these kind of mediums which have probably become very, very old, where you invest money but you don't know if you're going to get returns. But in this case, you're investing only when the transactions are happening, right? So I think that way I see this is what is going to drive the real estate market going forward in India.
Perfect. Now, here comes another question. It's like, should a real estate company, okay, look at diverse channels simultaneously? And if your answer is yes, then what are the channels they should look into?
So I think the conventional challenges are, of course, there, which is the newspaper and print, and your holdings, your existing customer referrals, right?
Mhm.
There are these mandals, which are also there in various countries, right? But
Mhm.
I don't.
Mhm.
My view is slightly different on this. But, doing all this requires a huge cost investment for any of the developers, right? When you're working with channel
Mhm.
partners, right, you don't need so much of investment, right? Because they work on their own, and it's a transactional business, right? Now suppose
Mhm.
let's discuss very quick sort of stories like automobile, right?
Mhm.
I think if you look at it, when Hyundai probably came in India, right, or maybe Honda came into India, right, they never thought that
Mhm.
I'm going to sell every car by myself, right? They set up the distribution network, right? And now I think their products sell by themselves, right? Not only in India, but globally, right? But
True.
here the thought process is completely different. A developer thinks that I only should be selling my own products, right? Which is practically impossible if he wants to sort of do that in India, right? His main forte is design, construction, doing projects, and not selling those inventories, right?
Right.
And very few people have been understanding this math. And those are 5 6 companies who are expanding themselves in various markets in India, and there are few companies who have probably gone to Dubai, US as well, right? I was seeing, I wouldn't name someone, but I think these people have done that, right? So ultimately,
Mhm.
what are the key areas from construction point of view? You're obviously looking at customer satisfaction, building your own brand, having those numbers in place. But is it really going to possible if you just think on your own business and selling everything on your own? So you also have to look at channel partner as a distribution model, which is probably present in automobile for last so many years. If you look at electronics, what is Chroma? What is
True.
visual sales, right? I mean,
Right.
Sony or Apple and all these brands are big, huge brands, and they've been. And what is Amazon, right? Of course,
True that.
Airbnb. Nobody has their own products, right? But I think
Right.
sales at one point in time is going to be outsourced, right? And these people need to understand that, right? Because 5 years down the line, if they continue doing the same thing, I think these people are going to be out of the market for sure.
True. Oh, that's an amazing point altogether. If I'm not wrong, 5 years down the line, if people don't transform themselves, then yeah.
Which is what is happening
Now,
now. You see, I mean, just to add to that, you see brokers network is coming into the market now for last couple of
mhm,
months, right? Rahul Yadav's company. Now they're paying, 300 rupees for site visit.
mhm,
What does it mean? That, these Cat B, Cat C developers are not getting customers at their sites.
got
And
it.
there is, you have to pay for the site visit. This never used to happen, right? What does it mean? There is an extreme scarcity of customers. That is the reason is basically because there are partners who are working with these corporates who understands how the business is done on both sides, right? So,
Interesting. Right, right. Very much right. In fact, I accept your point, and this is where we are in the sync. I have my next question. Okay, manually, how long these people will engage? So, technology as a word. So, how can real estate benefits from channel management software? What is your point on that?
so I think we are also working with this with couple of developers on a pilot project. I'm sure since you come from a technology background, you would actually give me more insight on that. But the way it happens, right? I mean, we've seen online businesses, right? I mean, any product being sold online, whether it is on Amazon and Flipkart. Obviously, Apple is sold on Amazon or Apple is sold on Flipkart, right? And there are these offers, right? uh, so I'm surprised it's still not happening in real estate. But we are working on these projects where obviously we'll take access of the inventories at our end, right? And what also happens is, typically when our sales guys drive a customer to the site, right? The site is full of customers, right? It become very difficult to first of all catch hold of the sales guy. Again, even if you
True.
catch hold of the sales guy, then it becomes pretty difficult. They don't share the inventories so easily, right? Although I don't know how,
Right.
what difference it is going to make. You're just going to add to one more sale there, right? And then typically the customer also gets irritated into that whole scenario, right? That's one scenario. It's
Mhm.
a complete chaotic scenario. Look at the way technology is helping everyone right now. So for example, I'm talking to you right now, and then I know the product, I know the project in Hinjawadi, and then obviously I'm able to show you the buildings, I'm able to show you the views, I'm able to show you which floor to sort of select, right? And imagine, you sitting there on your desk, right? You're able to open the inventory, select the flat, you see the view, I send you a link, and you just make a payment from then and there itself, right? And you buy a house, right? And I'm sure,
True.
you know, 5 years ago, I never thought that I would probably buy a shirt or a trouser from Amazon, and I'm doing it, and I'm doing it every day, right? So,
True.
I think that's something which we should look at, right? If these things are sold online, why can't we sell homes online, right? I mean,
Right.
it's technology which can obviously help that, right? And I'm sure if you do that, I think there's nothing better than that, and I want to see that thing one day.
Perfect. In fact, we had been doing this for a year right now, where we had been helping developers to sell inventories close to $393 million in last 18 months. But anyways,
Wow,
that's another story altogether. But yes, technology is very much important because you want to scale up. You as an organization wants to scale up. My next question
absolutely.
is, people would like to know more about what is Clearspace, how you work, what are the opportunities there, and tell me something more about Clearspace. We are curious to know about
We're three partners, me, Rishikesh, and Vaibhav. Three of us come from, corporate real estate. So just, I think I'll take a minute or so. We spent about, 15 years, working in real estate, right? In corporate real estate. I worked with, Rohan, PCG, Peninsula, and all of that. And while working in the real estate scenario, we thought, I think it's a very unorganized market. right? Where I think there are a lot of trust issues. We saw a lot of customers being cheated, in terms of pricing, in terms of deliveries and stuff like that. Uh,
Hmm.
so we thought that I think we should, since we have experience, we've seen all ups and downs, we've seen all the markets, right? We should help customers first of all, to choose them the right brands, right? The
True.
brands that we work with, I think I'm sure Godrej, used to obviously still also makes locks and cupboards and things like that. So there is a trust. There's a lot of trust, right? Of course, when people say it is Godrej or VTP or Shapoji, they know that these are huge brands and they will deliver. But if you look at
True.
Cat B and Cat C, I still don't know, right? I mean, there are a lot of companies you must have seen in Pune itself last 10 years have been struggling to deliver. Some people also
True.
went out of the market. So at this point in time, our role is becomes very, very crucial to select those top brands based on a lot of research. It's just not the pricing part of it, but one is of course the brand, their financial mechanism, their back end, right? Their corporate governance and stuff like that, and offer those kind of products to our customers, right? That's what we are currently doing it in Pune, Bombay, Bangalore, and Dubai, right? So we've just made sure that customers are first, and we'll work for them, and we'll give them the top brands. I mean, basically the apples in the real estate, right? That's what we are currently doing. Uh, but I think going forward, we also have dreams. So we are also working on these online platforms, right? And like we're saying, proptech. Obviously, our next thing is to get these top brands or similar brands online, and work in major Indian markets, right?
Interesting. That's an amazing vision to have, Avinash. I really appreciate and
But we are
congratulate on
also working.
in that.
Thank you. Sorry. So
Yeah.
we are work. I think next 2 to 3 months we are also coming up with our own online platform, which will
Mhm.
basically only cater to the end user, to the home buyer. Because you've seen a lot of platforms available like Magic Breaks or 99 Acres and Housing and so on, who are probably mixed
Mhm.
platforms, which are probably partially broker platforms and partially customer platforms. So we are building a 100% customer oriented platform.
Nice. That's amazing. So it was all Avinash and lovely talking to you. We are coming to the end of the show. It was pleasure to have you here and the
Thank you.
insights and the inputs you gave about the whole channel ecosystem. It was really amazing. Thanks for your time and really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on this platform, and I wish you guys all the very best.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Avinash. Bye.